Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Hope you guys are all doing well. We got three stories to cover today. We're gonna start off with the MUDRYK update. We're gonna start with then we're gonna go to the Xiao Felix, and then we're gonna have a little talk about Arsenal's upcoming game against Newcastle. I just thought I'm just gonna put all three in one just to save time. We're gonna start off with MUDRYK. Obviously, MUDRYK is an ongoing transfer, ongoing story. We keep hearing about it, but there's been some new update regarding it. So a Ukrainian journalist, a tier one on Twitter by the name of Yeehaw, he's tweeted that Arsenal have submitted a new offer for MUDRYK and Shakhtar are deciding whether to accept or continue negotiating. So obviously I mentioned yesterday, another journalist basically informed everyone that Arsenal agreed personal terms, and now it's looking like Arsenal sent a second improved offer, which was expected. As I with the journalists previously, they're all talking about how people within the club or close to the club are quite positive that this deal will go through, and it's no surprise that Arsenal made a second improved bid. Hopefully, I think we have to wait a bit more until more credible journalists like the Ornstein and the Fabrizio Romanos come out and confirm it. But I wouldn't be surprised. Like I mentioned, I think it's quite obvious that Arsenal and Arteta are big fans of MUDRYK, and they clearly do want him. So a second bid is expected. Like I mentioned, I think we're just waiting for official confirmation from more journalists until when this so it's more reliable and more trustworthy. But it's looking good. I keep mentioning that I think I would love MUDRYK to sign for Arsenal. I think he would be a brilliant player. In terms of this article, he didn't mention how much the fee was going to be, but from what I can say, I can't see how much the fee is. Obviously, Shakhtar are holding for 100 million. Arsenal are trying to only go for 60 million to 70 million euros. So I think that's going to be the big stumbling block. Shakhtar's fees is very high. I don't know where they got this valuation from. Obviously, they're trying to compare to Anthony, who signed for Man United from Ajax. I just think 100 million is a bit way too much, and for a player only 21 years old, I believe 100 million is way too much, especially when it's when you look at the market of I can't get my head around why £100 million would be just like I can justify 100 million, and Arsenal, I mentioned before, just not in the position to spend £100 million on just one player. Okay, and the second update, the second news we're going to get into is Xiao Felix. So the reliable David Ornstein has tweeted out that Atletico Madrid are ready to loan out Xiao Felix. Man United and Arsenal are the main contenders at present, but apparently Atletico Madrid won around £21 million for Xiao Felix on a 6-month loan. So that breaks down to a 15 million euro loan fee, and then a 6 million in wages. So that is just too much, bringing a total to 21 million euros. That is just too much for a 6-month loan. Obviously, Atletico Madrid are trying to recoup that 100 million they spent on. I think it was more than 100 million. They're trying to recoup that 100 million they spent on a Xiao Felix, and honestly, it's just too much. But look, Xiao Felix would be perfect for us. I keep mentioning it previously. Squad depth is very important for Arsenal in our current situation, and in the January window we have to utilize it. And but that 21 million euros for a 6-month loan is just too much. But apparently this could, if you think about it, this could also be like a Martin Odegaard loan, where you think about, we got Odegaard, he played brilliant, but then we ended up signing him. So maybe the same thing could happen with Xiao Felix. But I think the way for this to happen is Atletico Madrid need to lower the demand. That expensive fee is just too much for Arsenal. I believe it could also be a bit too much for Man United. I do believe if both clubs went in, I think he would favour Arsenal. But in saying that, Man United, I believe Man United would offer that money because they're a bit more desperate for that striker, because they only have Martial right now. Whilst Arsenal have Jesus and Nketiah, potentially Martinelli. But hopefully this is a deal that can get done. I think we have to give it a bit more time. Hopefully it is to Arsenal. And like I said, I would love Xiao Felix. In terms of Arsenal's upcoming game, obviously we got Newcastle tomorrow, 7:45 kickoff. Newcastle have been a brilliant team this season. I mean, Eddie Howe working magic. He hasn't even spent any money, and I believe he's in the top 4 already. What a brilliant achievement by Eddie Howe. Also against Newcastle, I mean, also have a pretty good record against Newcastle in our last 4 games against Newcastle. Newcastle, we've only lost one, and that loss comes from that horrific 2-0 last season, which ended our top 4 hopes. But other than that, we've been really good against Newcastle. But this is a new Newcastle, a more motivated Newcastle with the new ownership, the whole stadium, the whole fans, everything's just changed for Newcastle, and it's going to be a very difficult game, and this is going to be one of Arsenal's big tests, because obviously Newcastle are a team in the top 4 and also need to continue to keep pushing on, especially if we want to have any chance at winning that title. We have to win these games, especially at home. The home has to be a fortress, and the Emirates Stadium has been a fortress this season, and it needs to carry on. I believe this game will be tough. I mean, I'm looking at Newcastle's last 5 games. 4 wins and 1 draw. That is an unbelievable record. This obviously includes the friendly game, so I mean, if you want to count that in. But a good thing about this game for Arsenal is that a lot of Newcastle players are out injured. Isaac is out injured, Shelby is out injured, Matt Target is out injured, but they still have a really good team. You know, you got the resurgence of Almiron. What a player. I mean, Jack Grealish was making fun of him. Jack Grealish needs to make more fun of Arsenal players, because we need a resurgence for some of our players the way Almiron is playing. Then you got Joe Linton, transformed, Bruno Guimaraes, Xiao Felix is returning, which is going to be really interesting. Trippier is having the season of his life. What a player, what a siding by Newcastle. Honestly, Newcastle are looking really good. But on the other hand, Arsenal are also really looking really good. But also just need to get that momentum, need to push with that momentum. You know, we're on a high, and hopefully we get that win. I'm going to go with a 2-0 Arsenal win, a comfortable 2-win Arsenal win. That's the end of today's video, guys. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new.